Evening, my little angel. December has come, and I have seen Christmas decoration on the street. Christmas, beyond the scope of stories, is also the season where the cold reigns. In that cold, we come to each other to feel the warmth. Don't you know, my little love, the beautiful Christmas tree that you see, the caves, the spaces filled with sparkling lights, the brightly colored gift boxes, have long been the backdrops for pictures. Our beautiful photos result from working together and the time and effort spent together to create. The Christmas trees, as big as the buildings, hung with gifts and flashing lights, cannot be done by just one person in a short time. We call that togetherness air, an air for the spirit that we all need. It is as necessary to us as the physical air we breathe. A baby who cried loudly when he was born will stop crying when hugged, comforted, and feels warmth. For that reason, in addition to the basics we have learned from history, the Christmas season is still called the season of love because in it we find a lot of air. From this December onward, there will be additional fairy tale story times, and Tottochan is participating in a play today. English speaking child and amateur drama. A new pupil arrived at Tomoe. He was tall for an elementary school boy and abroad. Tottochan thought he looked more like a 7th grader. His clothes were different too, more likely grown-up ones. That morning, on the school grounds, the headmaster introduced the new student. This is Miyazaki-kun. He was born and brought up in America, so he doesn't speak Japanese very well. That's why he has come to Tomoe, where he can make friends more easily and take his time over his studies. He's one of you now. What grade shall we put him in? What about 5th grade, with Tottochan and others? That's fine, said Tottochan, who was good at drawing, in the big brotherly voice. The headmaster smiled and went on. I said he was very good at Japanese, but he is very good at English. Get him to teach you some. He's not used to life in Japan, though, so you'll have him, won't you? And ask him about life in America. He'll be able to tell you all sorts of interesting things. Well, then, I'll leave him with you. Miyazaki-kun bowed to his classmates, who were much smaller than him. And all the children, not only those in Tottochan's class, bowed back. At lunchtime, Miyazaki-kun went to the headmaster's house, and all the others followed him. Then, what did he do but start to walk into the house with his shoes on? All the children shouted at him, "You've got to take off your shoes!" Miyazaki-kun seemed startled. "Oh, excuse me," he said, then taking them off. The children began telling him what to do, all talking at once. "You have to take your shoes off for the rooms with tatami-matted floors, and for the assembly hall. You can keep them on in the classrooms and in the library. When you go to Kuhanbasu temple, you can keep them on in the courtyard, but you have to take them off in the temple." It was fun learning about the differences between living in Japan and living abroad. The next day, Miyazaki-kun brought a big English picture book to school. They all clustered around him at lunchtime to look at the book. They were amazed. They had never seen such a beautiful book before. The picture books they knew were only printed in the bright reds, greens, and yellows. But this one had pale flesh-colored pinks. As for the blues, they were lovely shades mixed with white and gray, colors that didn't exist in crayons. There were lots of colors beside the standard 24 in the box of crayons, not even in Tottochan's special bag of 48. Everyone was impressed. As for the picture, the first one was of a dog pulling a paper in his diaper. What impressed them was that the paper didn't look as if it was painted, but have soft pink skin, just like a real baby. They had never seen a picture book that was so big and printed on such lovely, thick, shiny paper. In her usual sociable way, Totto-chan got as close to Miyazaki-kun and the picture book as she could. Miyazaki-kun read the English text to them. The English language sounded so smooth that they listened enraptured. Then Miyazaki-kun began to grapple with the Japanese. Miyazaki-kun certainly had brought something new and different to the school. Aka-chan is baby, he began. They all repeated after him. Aka-chan is baby. Utsukushi is beautiful, Miyazaki-kun said the next, dressing the ku. Utsukushi is beautiful, repeated the others. Miyazaki-kun then realized his Japanese pronunciation has been wrong. Is Utsukushi, is it right? Miyazaki-kun and the other children soon became good friends. Every day, he brought various books to Tomoe and read them to the others at lunchtime. It was just as if Miyazaki-kun was their English tutor. At the same time, Miyazaki-kun's Japanese quickly improved, and he stopped making blunders like sitting in the tokonoma, the alcove reserved for hanging scrolls and ornaments. Tottochan and her friends learned lots of things about America. Japan and America was become friends at Tomoe. But outside Tomoe, America had become an enemy, and since the English has become an enemy language, it was dropped from the curriculum of all the schools. Americans are devils, the government announced. But at Tomoe, the children kept chanting in chorus, "Utsukushi is beautiful." And the breezes that blew across Tomoe were soft and warm, and the children themselves were beautiful. We're going to put on a play. It was the first play in Tomoe's history. The custom of someone giving a talk at lunchtime was still going on. But imagine performing a play on a little stage with the piano the headmaster always played for Eurythmics and inviting an audience. None of the children had ever seen a play, not even Tottochan. Apart from Swan Lake, she had never once been to the theater. Nevertheless, they all discussed what sort of program they should put on for their end-of-year performance. Tottochan's class decided to do Kanjinjo, the fundraising charter. This famous old kabuki was not exactly what you could expect to see at Tomoe, but it was one of their textbooks, and teacher Maruyama would coach them. They decided Aiko Saiso could make a good Benkei, the strong man, since she was big and tall, and Amadera-kun, who could look stern and had a loud voice, should play Togashi, the commander. After talking it over, they all came to the conclusion that Totto-chan should be the noble Yoshitsune, who in the play is disguised as a porter. All the others could be the strolling monks. Before they could begin rehearsing, the children had to learn their lines. It was nice for Totto-chan and the monks, for they had nothing to say. All that the monks were required to do was stand silently throughout, while Totto-chan as Yoshitsune had to remain kneeling with her face hidden by a large straw hat. Benkei, in reality, Yoshitsune's servant, beats and upbraids his master in a clever attempt to get a pass past the Ataka checkpoint by posing as a band of monks collecting funds to restore a temple. Aiko Saiso, playing Benkei, had a tremendous role. Besides all the verbal thrust and parry with Togashi, the checkpoint commander, there was the exciting bit where Benkei had to pretend to read out the fundraising charter when ordered by the commander to do so. The scroll he reads from his blank, and he brilliantly temporizes an appeal for funds in pompous ecclesiastical language. Firstly, for the purpose of the reiteration of the temple known as Todachi. Aiko Saiso practiced her firstly speech every day. The role of Togashi, too, had lots of dialogue as she tried to refute Benkei's arguments, and Amandara struggled to memorize it. Finally, rehearsal time came. Togashi and Benkei faced each other, with the monk lined up behind Benkei, and Totto-chan as Yoshitsune kneeling huddled over in front. But Totto-chan didn't understand what it was all about. So when Benkei had to knock Yoshitsune down with his staff and strike him, Totto-chan reacted violently. She kicked Aiko Shaisho in the legs and scratched her. Aiko cried and the monks giggled. Yoshitsune was supposed to remain still, looking cowed, no matter how much Benkei beat and hit him. The idea is that while Togashi suspects the truth, he is so impressed by Benkei's rules and the pain it must cause him to ill-treat his noble master, that he lets him through the checkpoint. To have Yoshitsune resisting would ruin the whole plot. Teacher Maruyama tried to explain this to Totto-chan, but Totto-chan was adamant. She insisted that if Aiko Shaisho hit her, she could hit back. So they made no progress. No matter how many times they tried the scene, Totto-chan always put up a fight. "I'm terribly sorry," said teacher Maruyama to Totto-chan finally. "But I think we had better ask Tai-chan to play the part of Yoshitsune." Totto-chan was relieved. She didn't like being the only one who got knocked about. "Totto-chan, will you please be a monk?" asked teacher Maruyama. So Totto-chan stood with the other monks, but right at the back. Teacher Maruyama and the children thought everything could be fine now, but they were wrong. He shouldn't have let Totto-chan have a monk's long staff. Totto-chan got bored with standing still, so she started poking the feet of the monk next to her with the staff and tickling the monk in front under his armpits. She even pretended to conduct with it, which was not only dangerous for those nearby, but also ruined the scene between Benkei and Togashi. Eventually, she was deprived of her role as a monk too. Tai-chan, as Yoshitsune, gritted his teeth manfully as he was knocked over and beaten, and the audience must sure have felt sorry for him. Rehearsals progressed smoothly without Totto-chan. Left by herself, Totto-chan went out onto the school grounds. She took off her shoes and started to improvise a Totto-chan ballet. It was lovely dancing according to her own fancy. Sometimes she was a swan, sometimes the wind, sometimes a gorgeous person, sometimes a tree. All alone in a deserted playground, she danced and danced. Deep in her heart, however, there was a tiny feeling that she would like to be playing Yoshitsune. But had they allowed her to do, she would indeed have hit and scratched Aiko Shaisho. Thus it was that Totto-chan was not able to take part in the first and last drama at Tomoe. Today's story time is over. I wish my little love a good night's sleep. Kiss you long on your forehead. See you again next time.